for today, we've got a wee bit of an expansion of what we're going to be doing today. Today, we are going to go ahead and we are going to continue or do the numerology to tarot again, like I did yesterday, and like I showed you yesterday, but for today's date, which is the 25th of November. Sorry, I had to remind myself of the date. So, the 25th of November, which is the Hermit, by the way. But then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through a 3-card draw, because that is usually what follows up in this type of reading in the method that I use. Because it's one thing for the Hermit, the day card, the numerology to tarot, to be said, today's the Hermit, today we should pull in and pay attention to the lessons that came around. But what were the lessons? Only you can answer that one. So we'll explain the Hermits in not as great of detail. I have my script already written here, but then I'm going to follow it up with a 3-card draw. The 3-card draw is really where the meat of it all begins to come in. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Numerology to Tarot day card, and then we're going to do the 3-card draw, and then we're going to put it all together in why is that card so important? What is it we're supposed to mean today? And if you're paying attention in what the Hermit card actually is today, you'll figure it out. You'll hear it. You'll understand what's there to listen to in the first place. So I hope you have your coffee. I hope you have everything else that you want, because just go ahead and get right on into it. I find it interesting that I'm having a wee bit of a wardrobe malfunction whilst I'm trying to discuss and describe everything that's going on in today's reading. Whilst I do like a good dangly in front of my eyes every now and then, too much of it is a bit too much. And the hair spike, which is a spear, is hard to control today. So, apologies. So, today it is the 25th of November 2025. So again, let's go ahead and let's break down the November into the 11th month of this year, and let's remove that 0 out of 2025, and we get our integers that we're going to play around with. Let's break it down a wee bit more and add addition signs into it all, and let's go ahead and break it down. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Or sorry. Yes. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7 plus 1 equals 8. 8 plus 1 equals 9. 9 plus 2 equals 11. But the thing that I mentioned about numerology yesterday is if you come across a double digit 11, 22, 33 as a final sum, it can't be broken down anymore. Like, you can't take 11 as a final sum and break it down into 1 plus 1 to get 2. It doesn't work, because the universe, according to the classical numerology system, which I still adhere to, doesn't work that way. But because we're not at our final sum here, we're going to go ahead and break that down. So we have 11 here, so that's 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 5 equals 9. The 9th card of the major arcana of the tarot is the Hermit, which is our card for the day. And let's see if I still have it out here. Yes, I do. And I'm going to not reverse the camera this time, but here is the Hermit. Let's go ahead and let's stick that right here. Let's get right to it. It was quite an ordeal that you underwent these past few days, draining you physically, aye, but none more so than in the mind. Whilst the material world will tend to itself for now, each and every day presents itself as an opportunity to learn. So, what did you learn? Don't say you learned nothing. Because if this is your answer, if this is your answer, you will repeat the lesson again and again and again until you finally learn it. But how many times are you willing to beat your head against a brick wall and get bloody until you get to the point? Only you can answer that one. Either way, today is yours. Use it well. Learn the lessons that were presented to you. Do the much needed self-care to make sure that you are okay. And then afterwards, do something that brings you joy and happiness. Ecstasy, even. The day is yours after all. Unless you learn nothing after all. And after all was said and done, because you prefer the special treatment, because you feel you're a cut above the rest, you learn nothing. In this case, have fun bashing your head up against that wall. You'll get to the point. One day. With any luck, it's before you pass out. Now, here is where we get to a wee bit of the meat of the video that I'm going to be doing the Numerology to Tarot. It's the 3-card draw, which is nothing more than, as I have written here, what can we learn from the Hermit, which is the question that I asked when I was shuffling the deck. So, to which we have this reading here. You'll notice that every single card here is reversed. Now, notice, whilst every card is reversed, a tarot card reader will tell you that that's not necessarily a bad thing. In this, I'm going to repeat it. It's not necessarily a bad thing that all the cards here are reversed. Instead, what this means is there's a bit that we need to do more. A bit more to the journey that we need to do to reach our goal. For which, and unfortunately I couldn't find the cards because I reshuffled the deck, so I'll just go ahead and keep the picture here. The Devil reversed, which is in this position here. This position here, which is reversed on the video, the farthest to your left, dear viewer, is going to be, as most tarot card readers will call it, the past. But because I do this as a form of psychological check-in, I say past influences. This is where we're coming from, or this is what was. So, where are we coming from in what was? The Devil reversed. We are coming from a position where the crafty devils of obsession and addictions and manipulations have lost their control over you, giving you the space and a chance to escape and earn the glory of your freedom. These chains that once held you were not physical. They were, of course, much worse than that. They were self-imposed chains of the mind, brought about by a lack of experience, clever manipulation. But let's talk about your lack of experience here. We all yearn and lust for freedom, to be rid of our chains that bind us down. It too is a single moment of carelessness for you particularly, that your chains, your bonds were loosened, that gave you your moment of freedom that you took advantage of and you went for it. Bravo! This is yours now. But now what? You're free of the physical manifestations of your self-imposed chains. What will you do now? You are free to your own agency in this life. And even with some experience in being manipulated by a clever master manipulator, you forget. Manipulation starts small. It starts innocently. It starts innocuously. This is where your lack of experience will lead to everything repeating if you're not careful. Will you will you accept that you are inexperienced and you don't know the warning signs? Or will you continue as you return to the change you just escaped from? Moving on. The next card, which will be here in the center of the screen, is what tarot card readers will call the present, because we are present here and now. I don't disagree with it. I just say, where are we now? Or how we got here now. Well, not how we got here, well, we just said that. This is, now that we've explored how we got here, here's where we're at. For which we have justice reversed. Too often we feel out of balance or out of sorts. We lash out, we make poor decisions, and come to believe that the world is out to make us suffer. This is not the case. But here you are, confused. Your life is out of sorts enough, and you're on the verge of making poor decisions again. And blaming shadows, all these shadows that you perceive all the threats in, for all of your rotten luck. All of this stems from you. Your inability to accept that you are easily manipulated, you are easily controlled, you are easily led on, that you are inexperienced. In your inexperience, the cycle continues as you become the very jailer who convinced you to lock yourself up in the first place. Grow up. Your life spun out of control because you let it. Your environment spun out of control because you gave it up. You're home now, but you have no control. Need you be reminded that you gave yourself up to the eternal flame your arrogance brought up to and found yourself unworthy with? Did you not think that in order to understand what you had and what you loved, you needed to lose it all? And all of this is of your take responsibility. All of this spins out of control because you let it. That's where we're at today. Moving on to the possibility of what may be if we continue on the path. Or, as a tarot reader, we'll just go ahead and read the future. Because it is a past, present, future reading, or portion of the reading. So, the Six of Swords reversed. Why do you linger here, in this moment? The longer you delay the inevitable, the worse the situation will become until it begins to collapse around you. So that's it. A failure. Is that how you see yourself? You were told to grow the fuck up. So grow up. Life is messy, and this is no different. You're haunted by the lingering ghosts because you have unfinished business with them, with what created them and what they hunger for. The only failure is the one who gives up instead of doing the work. So stop delaying. You're only making things worse for yourself, and start moving. And that is the 3-card read. If you are paying attention to what this reading is talking about, the question was, what does the Hermit have to say, or what do we need to think about and contemplate with the Hermit today? What are the lessons that we needed to learn? Now, this reading has a very specific person in mind, and I'll be absolutely honest, and this is going to be the extended portion of this video. The reading is talking about me, or more particularly, I have dissociative identity disorder. There's multiple versions of me in my head at all times. I've had my moments where I pull myself together only to break apart again, only to pull myself together only to break apart. The recent journey that I found myself upon was petitioning King Belial to help me free myself of some of these unforeseen chains and cages that I have imposed upon myself. It turned into resurrecting an old alternate personality of mine so I may reintegrate with it. Whereas that old personality of mine decided, fuck you, I want nothing to do with you, or the situation of my making, so I would rather run away than deal with it. The way that I managed to get over and through my unforeseen chains is by having this personality resurrected only for the decree to be reintegrate. Now, I did that during a Renaissance fair, my last one, and it's been a horrible case of, shall we say, mental indigestion ever since, because I'm finding all of those old quirks that I hated about that personality rising up in myself again. The excessively short temper, the hairline triggered temper, all that. But instead of just letting myself run with it, I am hitting the books. I'm looking at the psychological causes and that stems all of these responses, like loss of control in one's environment, being manipulated, excessive trauma, the PTSDs, and all of that. Now, I'm nowhere near perfect, and I'm still working with this to this day. And yeah, but the reading itself deals with that aspect of who I am. That personality was that level of inexperience, could not identify people who only have their best interests at heart and don't care about who they're going to extort, who they're going to manipulate in order to exploit for their personal gains. They don't care. They never did. They only care about their enlightened self-interest, and it doesn't matter who the cost is. And I was one of those people as collateral damage. So that reading was me, or rather that personality. So, from a more analytical and psychological standpoint, I accept this reading that in the spirit in which it was given, because I did ask for these unforeseen chains that bound me down, that I don't remember, to come out of the woodwork, to be exposed, so that I can figure it out and finally fucking let it go. And I've got it. And I'm still working on it. This is a journey, after all, and this is a lifelong process that I am in the middle of. Just because I've had an aha breakthrough moment doesn't mean I've suddenly figured out life. It doesn't work that way. Just because I figured out this portion doesn't mean tomorrow doesn't have another monkey wrench it's going to toss in the middle of the works, and it's going to require me to work on that. That's how life works. Life is change. Life forces you to adapt. Make a choice. Start moving, as that final card suggested. But there is a wee bit more involved with all of this. You see, whilst I am including a vlog in this particular video, I also, during my daily devotionals to the Infernal Divine, I asked Belial, Asmodeus, and Nama what I should focus on. Now, Nama was an interesting one because I had a very specific question and she answered, but the card that I drew also explains why the answer was the way that it was, that I would like to share with you. If I'm going to have an occasional vlog dealing with this journey or how I interpret life, the world, politics, even though let's rather not. Because I'm just starting on this particular platform, I would rather not get kicked off of that. So let's go ahead and discuss what the Infernals have to say. I did not look at this before I started recording, so there is no script, but I do have the booklet with me. And because I see this as a form of psychology, not necessarily as anything else, let's go ahead and figure out what the Infernals have to say. For which, I will show the card, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. For this, I don't exactly need the book, but it will help. Because the Hanged Man usually talks about needing a change of perspective. For which the book says, stop everything. For now. Action will not solve the problem or improve the situation. You are attached to the outcome and likely to the process. Detach from these expectations. Sacrifice your methods on the altar of enlightenment. Calmly wait for the revelation as you consider the world from a different point of view. The way that I'm used to doing these things that set me apart from my alternate personality predecessor was that she was far more spiritual than I am. I'm a wee bit more religious, certainly. But I adhere more to science and psychology and therapy than she does. So as I'm reading these things, I'm keeping in mind the sciences and all that. Reading this with the Infernal Divine in mind is weird. So change up my perspective. I'm asking and I'm petitioning King Asmodeus, King Belial, and Queen Nama for assistance in this world and in these various aspects of my life. And they're helping me in ways that I could never have thought of before. Brilliant. But give up the expectations that I had before. I have no expectations when it comes to the Infernals because it's not like Yahweh Elohim. It's not like all of the other light deities, gods, goddesses that I've ever worked with before. They have blown my expectations out of the water so many times before. I understand that the outcome of setting aside my expectations is its own reward, and I'm looking forward to that because it often will come in a form or manifestation that I don't exactly expect. Like me, Belial, letting me know or cluing me into the fact that King Asmodeus wanted to work with me because as I integrated with that personality, I would be inexperienced and prone to manipulation and those tactics. Well, he's an infernal deity. Let's go ahead and let's work with that. I'm working with the Infernal Divine. Give up my expectations that I've had thus far, and I'm 42. This will be fun. This will be interesting. So now, speaking of King Asmodeus, let's get into what he wanted me to focus on, which is nothing more than Page of Swords. Plaster that there. Page of Swords. This person lacks experience, but makes up for it with inquisitiveness and enthusiasm. They want to be accepted for their ideas, which are far more idealistic than practical. Whilst they have little influence or authority, they bring fresh perspectives and a logical approach to the problem. So, right there, acknowledging that I am inexperienced. I, to put it very, very mildly, in relation to this sect of life that I am working with, I am like a child. I have these lofty ideas and expectations and all these things, but hold on for just a tick. My expectations, whilst are awesome, don't exactly fit into what reality may hold for me, so hold on. I have ideas, I have expectations and all that, but hold on for just a tick. Finally, I started working with Queen Nama at the behest of King Asmodeus. And when it comes to this particular video, and the videos that are going to continue on here, the question that I asked was, instead of talking about Queen Lilith or Lord Lucifer and the quotes from their Bibles, should I just start including things from the priestesshood of Nama and the flame of her priestesshood? The answer was kind of a cheat thing. If the card is right side up, the answer is going to be yes. That's how that one works, if anyone is interested. So yes. Why is it that way? It's the Eight of Swords. Let's plaster that there. The Eight of Swords. The situation is complicated, possibly dangerous, but not impossible. You have some options, even if they seem unclear. It is natural to feel helpless, but the feelings are not always facts. Ignore the ones that focus on what you can do. Think creatively. Cleverness and intelligence will free you from almost any trap. The trapping of ethically using divination tools. Or rather, the trapping of asking divination tools for every aspect of my life. You know, what am I going to wear today? What am I going to eat today? Am I going to meet this person today? All the things that a person toxically goes to a fortune teller for. Be mindful of that entrapment. Think creatively. I'm already aligning myself with Queen Nama and the sisterhood of that flame. Go ahead and do that, because it's in alignment with what I'm doing already. So, go ahead and do it. Nothing's stopping you. Could it be potentially dangerous? Absolutely, but so is everything else in the world. So, go ahead and do it. And with all that being said, this is today's reading, this is my vlog, and this is part of my practice. Am I going to include the messages from the Infernal Divines all the time? No. But this is me, this is what I'm all about, and this is what I do. I am slowly beginning to work on coming back into making videos and doing things for YouTube and all of that. It's a slow process, because as I mentioned yesterday, there's a lot going on for me in a way that both works for this, but also does not work for this. So, do what I can as I can, and all that. And have fun with it. Be creative. So, yet again, I am going to have my coffee in the afternoon, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon as I go ahead and I edit this. So, please remember that you are sacred. Each and every one of you are sacred in your own way. And may Lucifer's light guide you, always.